What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Carlotta Chadwick Show. Okay, y'all sent me some links. A couple of y'all sent me some links to hear about the case of the Akira case, the TikToks, and I'm going to come on only a few minutes to address this, but I still feel the same way. I'm even more convinced now after hearing the facts of the case, or the and I still don't know if it's facts. I still have to do more research on the case, but from what y'all show me and what I've heard, this doesn't this didn't convince me to change my thoughts or my mind. It it really okay. Let me trying to get this. I'm trying to get this thing straight real quick here. Yeah, hold on. Hey, hold on. I'm having a little technical difficulty. And I'll get it straight here. Okay, I think we're ready. Are we get? Do we get it right? Okay. Okay, you guys. Now we got it straight. Okay, y'all sent me links about this case, and I'm even more convinced. I don't know how this woman got awarded $1.75 million. I just don't. Her marriage looked like it was clearly over before it even fucking began. Like I said, a lot of women don't want to take responsibility for choosing crazy people. And you want somebody else to pay for what you already knew. No, it doesn't make me go for the wife even more. And a lot of y'all online doing this, it just makes me, it just shows why it's so many tragic stories of women who fall, just everything falls apart after somebody loses somebody. If this case is overturned for her, and I hope this young lady decides to fight this case with a lawyer this time, not with herself. Nobody is saying this. She represented herself. So she didn't probably build a good case. My personal opinion is probably she did not build a good case for herself to get herself out of this. The stories I have heard, and a lot of people were shocked in the courtroom about the behavior of Bria with the wife was clearly allowed Bria to live with them, all kind of stuff. But the wife is acting like she was a helpless little thing in this. Also, yes, a lot of wrong was done, a lot of bad stuff was done. It was nasty work, whatever. But that don't still change my mind. The law should not be used for this. Her marriage, she knew that this marriage was over ahead of time. The man, for the one of the links y'all showed me where they was discussing the court case, the people that's been in there, some of these YouTube reporters and all that stuff that been in the case. The man said he cheated throughout the whole marriage and he never loved a woman. So apparently, the laws of affection are like this. The cases is these laws of affection cases. It's not really about sex. They're saying it's really about that this girl Bria convinced her husband, seduced her husband with her money, her lifestyle, everything, even though she was living with them, convinced her husband to leave his wife, and even though the wife was getting done terribly, like he was doing, and apparently, allegedly, because I can't say, I'm just saying what I heard on, like what y'all was saying about these people. He slept with the girl's sister. Uh, oh, y'all gotta stop. These women, listen here. This is a money grab. Uh, I don't side with the wife on this. I'm sorry, I don't. And I'm a wife. I'm sorry. I don't. I don't. I think I think she did you a favor, to be honest. I think that you and any woman who's trying to hold on to a man who would have sex in her house with another woman who would be dissing her and living with the other woman and doing all kind of stuff like this, you deal with him. You do not deal with her. These are women that have the idea to go fight another woman because their husband or boyfriend is cheating. No. And now if she disrespects you, if she come to your house and she's disrespectful and to you and all that stuff, like this girl was, okay, I understand a beat down or something like that. But other than that, no. You deal with the man. The man is who you took a vow with. I'm sorry. I do not, but I don't think you sue. And I think the man, what's happening is he's over there with the TikTok star, okay? And he's getting, whatever this TikTok star is, he's not getting sued. He's getting away with this. He's not, like his girlfriend's getting sued. I don't know why these six places where this law still exists, because it could be a sham. I'm sorry, I because husband and wives can get together. They could have got together on her. I don't know what they, because she was a big time social media influencer, but he's still with the girl. He's still with the influencer. He's still with her, even though she lost this case. You still ain't getting your man, but I don't understand what the hell is going on around here that y'all think it's okay for her to sue. I just don't think it's okay, because just because I feel sorry for the way she was done, don't mean I think she deserved money from the other woman. I think you deserve money from your husband, and you would have got that money because in her household. Listen, y'all do not convince me of this, okay? It just did not convince me of that this woman should be sued. And a lot of y'all saying, well, this will teach other women. No, listen, ladies, you do yourself. It sounds like Akira, the wife, did herself a great disservice. She knew allegedly this man was not loyal. And they said, and allegedly he said he had problems from the beginning of the relationship. He never loved her. And then she showed text and stuff in court that showed that he said he was loving her and he was trying to stay with her. But men lie all the time. They lie. Men and especially men lie all the time to their wives. So what he was saying, I love you and I want to come back up, you know what I mean? He really want to do. So what he was sending you text, he was playing you, both of y'all. What is so hard about this case? My thing is, the only thing is that when I heard this woman, because nobody is saying this, when I heard this woman went in that case courtroom and she represented herself, I knew she was at a loss, because technically those kind of cases may look easy, but it's not easy, especially when they start bringing up text messages, because you don't understand the intricate parts of the law, like it being not about sex. Allegedly, this law is not. It's more about convincing somebody to leave their house, even though you can't. Like, you acting like somebody just the fuck. Like, people don't make their own decisions. Okay. So it's more about this law is about convincing. See, and a lawyer would have understood all that. He would have understood what to go for against her lawyer, what specific points to hit that shows, hey, this marriage was over. See, it didn't matter that he was sexually active with all kind of women, and he was doing all kind of shit beforehand, and he was doing shit possibly before the marriage, and he never really liked her, his wife, and everything. What mattered is that he left at a certain point, and he left with this woman. And this woman was the convincee that he left with. But it doesn't matter that all through this marriage, he ain't been shit. And see, a lawyer would have known how to hit that. If she hadn't self-represented herself, a lawyer would have known the exact argument to make to show that this marriage was over. But you don't get, they would have did discovery, everything. And she just probably didn't want to pay up. And it was dumb. She's not the smartest tool in the shed. I would say that, if that's what the case is. If this the case is, there's a reason why she didn't have any representation. Those laws are very, the reason Fantasia won, in my personal opinion, is because Fantasia at the time had a lot of money behind her, Hollywood money behind her. They sent the best lawyers down there for her to argue these cases. And they know how to go in and zone in on just the right thing. So this girl didn't lose a case because, well, all the things y'all think, not in my opinion. She lost it because it sounds like she represented herself. But let's read. I'll read this article one more time. One of these articles, child. Y'all still ain't convinced me. I don't understand what y'all. I'll read the part where she testified. Said North Carolina started testifies in trial accusing her of alienation of affection. Akira Montatog's alienation of affection lawsuit against North Carolina TikTok star Brene Kennard continued in front of a Durham County jury Friday. And this already been decided, but this is a thing where she testified with Kennard's witness, several of them family members of her husband. Timothy Montag portraying Timothy and Akira's marriage has prone to conflict. Okay, so it was already prone to Akira's Montag is suing for 3.5 million in damages, accusing Kennard of stealing her then husband, Timothy Montag, and flaunting the alleged affair on social media. Kennard has over 3 million TikTok followers on TikTok who tune into her Get Ready With Me videos, cooking and makeup tutorials, food reviews known as mukbangs. The trial has drawn significant attention from fans and detractors of the lifestyle influencer. Kennard lives in a Pitt County town of Winterville, okay? Okay, Timothy's family describes a troubled marriage. But apparently, it doesn't matter under this law if it was trouble, okay? But see, that's what I was saying. A lawyer would have known what to hit that said you was going to leave him anyway, and they probably would have did a discovery of his text messages to show where she was already planning on leave or show something else, okay? The problem is she was like, she didn't care what he did. Just stay with me. Just stay with me. It don't matter that you fucking up. You supposed to just stay. You my husband. You my property. You could be, I might not like what you're doing. You could be screwing up woman, but you just supposed to stay. I don't understand what is going on in the world. The lack of accountability is starting to scare me. I'm like, even, shit, I be getting on myself about like, come on, what the hell is going on? This woman clearly had a bad marriage. Y'all sitting up here writing me about somebody got a bad ass marriage, trying to defend her ass. She knew this man wasn't shit. And y'all defend. She took her husband. No, her husband was never her husband. He just married her. Shit. Anyway, Timothy's sister, Amani Montag, testified the environment was always hostile when she lived with Timothy and Akira. Amani was attending Meredith College, but testified that she had to drop out because of the stress of the Montag's marriage. Tamika Green, Timothy's mother, testified that Timothy and Akira played with each other often, but when it was bad, it was bad. She recalled a conversation where she told Akira she and Timothy could not shut out each other at the same time during an argument. Shout out to each other at the same time during an argument. Both Green and Amani Montag recall a time Timothy Montag came home with candle wax on his shirt. Timothy testifies Thursday that Akira Montag swept her arm at the objects on a table while the candle was lit, flinging the candle onto his shirt, okay? Green's testimony affirmed Timothy Montag claims that he had to marry Akira Montag. Listen to this, because this is what happens. A lot of women are, oh my God. And this is what the manosphere, I hate to agree with them sometimes, but sometimes they be on point with certain things. A lot of you make bad choices, and then once you make them, you're upset about the choice you knew was bad. No, a fucking accountability. Okay. Green's testimony, when the two said, okay, it said, claims that he had to marry Akira Montag, this is the wife, within 60 to 90 days in order for the two to live together at Green's place. When the two said I do at the wedding, Green cried, feeling the couple was too young and the marriage was likely to fail. Okay. And they had to marry, I think, because one of the families was really religious or something like that. Amani Montag said the couple had a playful relationship, but neither knew how to make a marriage work. I think that my brother was a terrible husband, Amani Montag said. Finishing his testimony from Thursday, Timothy Montag doubled down on the lack of rapport rapper between Akira and him. Anybody who was close to us was referee all the time, Timothy Montauk said. Okay, so basically, Akira knew this marriage was over, and Akira went and had a money grab. And she was able to do so because the laws in North Carolina are antiquated. Those laws on those books are antiquated. And no, that doesn't mean I like Brene or what Brene did. But this marriage was clearly a bum deal from the get-go. And now she don't want to take no responsibility for getting in a bum deal and having babies in a bum deal. And she want to sue the other girl because the girl got money, okay? So she don't want to take no accountability for her bum deal. I just because it doesn't. Y'all like, well, at least she get money from her. Yeah, it would be different if this was a lollipop marriage they got, and I still wouldn't be for it. And it was so great, and oh, here comes the seducing woman, and she took my husband. But this was a mess from before the start. How did anybody give her money? What people was getting upset with, they said in court, because some of the videos were really raunchy or something was happening. I don't know. I didn't see it. And they said one juror got up and accused herself because she said she couldn't be fair. Because a lot of women can't be fair when it comes to cheating. This is what happens. I'm going to be honest with, and I had to come to this term with myself. Even about when I would be mad years ago, like at old boyfriends when I was dating, they cheat and stuff. But I had to always ask myself, did I know this motherfucker was a cheater beforehand? Yeah, I did. So whose responsibility is that? Whose call is that? Because you didn't have to get in with him. I don't care what he was saying to you about what he was gonna do. Had his behavior changed? That ain't nobody's fault but yours. You gotta take responsibility for that. And so I had to start thinking differently as a woman and not let, because a lot of times women get together and we sometimes will feed that, but because women, but what we won't tell our friends the truth sometimes, that you invested in a bum deal, dear. And because you invested in a bum deal, you now gonna have to start all over. You have to figure it out. And you got to take responsibility for investing in that bum deal. Now you can deal with your husband, get child support, alimony, because he invested in a bum deal too, alimony, whatever. You know what I'm saying? That should have been between y'all. But the truth of the matter, this was a bum deal. A lot of women know from the start these are bum deals. They just want the person so bad. Finishing his testimony from Thursday, Timothy Montauk doubled down on the lack of rapport between him and Akira. Anybody who was close to us was referee out time. I read that. Has Akira Montauk's attorney, Robinetta Jones, cross-examined Kennard's witness, she pointed to several texts and photos meant to show the love and affection Akira and Timothy Montauk had for each other. The evidence including, and there was nobody, because she probably could not argue against that. She got up and tried to argue her own case. Oh my God, what a disaster for her. Now I already see that the girlfriend don't seem, and just in my opinion, just don't seem like the sharpest tool in the shed. Okay. But it says several texts in which Timothy called Akira a baby and told her he loved her. Oh, so what? But this looked like proof because she probably didn't have no good rebuttal. But anyway, he said Jones asked Timothy if his testimony was that he and Akira stopped being intimate, to which Timothy said yes. Jones then showed several sex, where Timothy and Akira reminisce on sexual acts from the previous night. Me a lot all the time. Especially when they going back between their wife and another woman. Okay, stop that foolishness. Okay, I can't believe this case got $1.75 million. I can't believe she walked out of there with that. This is crazy. The sex appeared to be on dates after January 2024, when Timothy testified. Akira discussed separation and granted him permission to pursue a relationship with Kennard. Timothy and Akira officially separated March the 5th, 2024. Photos of Timothy and Akira on vacation together. Okay, they showed that. Photos of Timothy and Akira smiling together. They were showing happy at times, showing this is the woman. Just a still. But see, if you ain't got no good argument to get up there and say, hey, how many times did you lie to this woman? I mean, you know what I'm saying? There's ways you can get rebuttal. But Jones also asked Timothy to confirm that he texted Akira's mother Vanetta Sador to plan a surprise birthday party for Akira. So, is this what y'all saying? See, that man loved his wife. No, he did. That doesn't mean he loved his wife. That mean he liked her. He might have thought she was cool. She the mama of my kids. I'm gonna give her. This is where women get so confused about love. She the mama of my kids. I'm gonna give her a birthday party. He never liked her. He said he was. He said he was. He had to marry her in 90 days. He probably was trying to. The marriage was tumultuous from the start. Allegedly, he cheated all the time. That's not love. Oh, y'all, I can't deal with y'all. Oh my God. This man seemed like he was trapped. Okay, I'm not saying he was trapped. I don't believe in trapped. But if we gonna say somebody trapped, the man was thinking he was trapped. Okay, this is y'all gotta be kidding. Y'all can't believe y'all believe in this stuff. Kenora's witness questioned if the text between Timothy and Akira were real, claiming the display did not look authentic. The witness also denied that the photos demonstrated love and affection. Do you not smile in the pictures, Timothy Montague asked Jones? Okay. When Kenora testified, she said she had no idea Akira Montague was uncomfortable with the relationship between Kenora and Timothy Montague. Okay. Oh my God. Okay. Kenora started living with the Montagues intermittently in December 2023 due to marital issues with her ex-husband, Devon Mayo. Let me just tell y'all this, okay? You never, every now blue moon, I can understand trying to let somebody, if you got an emergency to let someone live with you, but I don't really believe in that then. Apparently she was saying her ex-husband allegedly was putting hands on her, okay? And so they let her come and stay. That's a dangerous situation. I wouldn't have did that. Maybe help her with a place to stay or something because you married. You know what I'm saying? That's an intimate situation, unless it's family or something. And then if it's your family still, if it's his family, it's a different story. If it's your family, I'm still side-eyeing. I'm not letting too many. Listen, I'm okay. There's a difference in your friends coming over to visit, socializing with your spouses and people like that. And especially depending on who your spouse is, okay? Especially if you got a spouse that's like, he seemed like he wasn't nothing, but if you got a spouse that's big time or worse, you can't be just letting everybody be around there. You can't be, you know what I'm saying? You can let people come and stuff, but you got to be real careful with chicks spending the night, hanging out all the time. Usually men leave in that kind of situation. They go, you and your girlfriends have at it. I'm going to this. I'm going out of town this weekend. I'm going with my boys. You know what I'm saying? Not too much do other women have women around. I remember when I was in a situation that happened to me when I was in high school. Okay. And I knew better even then, but I went on this kind of double thing for a prom, right? I should never tell this story. I don't think I've ever told this story. I may have on the blog talk, but I don't think I did. Okay, I go on this prom thing. Not good. Well, if my grandfather had known, he would have hit. But I had a spare because my best one at the time, my best friend's brother was like, I'm not trusting this prom thing. Call me if you need me. Call me if something goes crazy or whatever, blah, 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 blah. I go to this prom and my boyfriend at the time was super popular. He was like one of the big basketball stars in the whole area, right? Oh my God, I should tell this story. People might hear, they gotta know who it is. Oh, okay. It's a horrible story. So oh my God, it is a terrible story. We double date, and afterwards, Oh my God, I can't. You know what? I'll just say it ended up very horribly where I had to call my friends and this a particular girl. It was a girl. I'll just say that the other guy's date who was very not aware of her situation. Let me just say this. Okay, they would have parties back in the day at hotels and stuff afterwards. Cliques, people would get together, people would rent out hotel rooms, everything, all kind of stuff and all that. And they would throw parties. Okay, this girl in the rooms we were in, she was just walking around naked. She was doing all kind of stuff with her boyfriend. Okay, it was embarrassing. I didn't like it. Oh my God, it's a horrible story. I still traumatized a little bit about the story. I'm not really telling y'all everything, but I'm telling y'all enough. Okay, I had to go call my brother, and he had to say, "Hey, you know what? Take her, bring her home," because he was a big guy. People were scared. So it was not a good story. But the girl, I was so angry with the girl because the girl was so being provocative. I was like, you know how you ain't gonna be in front of my boyfriend, blah blah blah, doing all of this stuff. But but women will sometimes. That's why I said because we were in proximity to each other, and she felt comfortable in doing whatever the fuck she was doing. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm like a 15, 16-year-old girl. So I'm like, the fuck is going on? I'm like, this is crazy, and this is the height of this is like the 80s, right? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it was like late 80s. It's like it was maybe it was going we were close to it was late 80s. Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah. And so I remember just like my grandmother trying to ask me if everything was great. I remember pretending, and my friend coming over the next day talking about, "Oh, tell your grandfather this was terrible." I said, "Please don't," because if I had listen, my grandfather would have just hit the but it was just and he would have been, and I would have gotten in trouble really. So I had to convince my friend, like, please don't, or whatever. But the thing was the woman, because we were in close proximity to each other. This woman did not care about how she dressed, how she was looking, or what she had on, or anything like that. And it really got irritated me. And that's what can happen. In my personal opinion, I learned that very young. If you have a man, you can't have people spending the night with you. I mean, living in your house. You can't have no friends come live with you. You can't have no cousins come, girl, cousin, all that stuff. You gotta be really careful. Nannies, all that. You gotta be careful. Your nanny, you might need to think about what your nanny look like. All kind of stuff. Not that I'm jealous, but you just gotta be aware because people are in close proximity to your significant other, your spouse, or your partner. And that's just not a good thing. It never breeds good because somebody could look out and walk out this. Now, I understand people coming to stay with you, coming for out of town or something like that, but that's not permanent. I'm talking about when you having taking somebody in for months at a time and everything. I would not advise that at all. I just would not. Nobody should be, because people be dressed in a certain way, and then you don't know. And listen, it's hard as a woman. I would never go around certain people. I would not. I am funny about how I appear in front of and I'm a very, let me just say this. I am a very, I'm trying to figure out how to say it. I don't tone down for anybody. I'm very flashy. I tend to be when I dress. I tend to be very. I like to be sexy and stuff like that. So I don't tend to I try not to be in close like a proximity to my friend's spouse. Because I just don't want that smoke. So I don't want nobody to be saying, oh, because I had a friend this happened to recently when she went on a cruise with a bunch of people. Okay, let me she talked me, and I have a beautiful friend, and she was telling me how she's bad. She a bad girl. So she said, hey, we went on a cruise, her significant other and several other couples. And she said, they was at the swim pool and she had on this beautiful, a set and everything. And hey, when she took girl got a bad body, she said she was trying to make sure, hey, like I had my thing on her significant other's like, what the fuck? Why are you doing all that? Why are you trying to be we at the swimming pool or whatever? But she said she was thinking, I better be careful because I don't want these women to be upset or whatever. She got in the swimming pool, everything. The husbands was like, a few of the husbands were looking at, like, she said she heard it that night from like one of her friends that told her all the women were really mad at you because you were in your. She said I'm at the swimming pool, like the bathing suit, and she said it made her very much like say, you know what, I better just keep myself out of that proximity, in that situation. I'm here with my person. I'm not. What the hell? Why are you mad at how I'm dressing or how I'm looking? And she said she realized she knew when she told her significant other, she said, I should have been paying attention to how these women look because she said they're very um modest. And so she said she knew she probably should have went out of the pool at different times with him, went, different things and handled it very differently because, she had to change what she was and everything like that. And she should have just shouldn't have been hanging around. It'd been different if they came out at that time or whatever. And I disagree with this because I feel like this is a pool. The fuck? Who? What are they? What do you mean? They mean they was jealousy, but that can happen. I mean, especially if you got body yada yada. Like you imagine Meg the Stallion. You and your people at that. I'm not that girl now, unless you doing something raunchy. Like this girl was doing something raunchy that I knew in the hotel room. She was doing something raunchy stuff because she was raunchy, okay? And it was people in different rooms. It was crazy. So she was doing some raunchy shit. But and the story has been, I did change some things in the story so that people won't be held accountable. But yeah, the what I'll say with that is when you have to be careful of that with women just in little things like dressing a certain way or just because people get so funny about they people. I mean, they do. I mean, so my thing is, I try not to like, if I'm with a certain group of people, I try to be maybe a certain way, but not too much. But I understand I would never want to live with if I'd had to, unless I had to, and I would make that very short. You cannot live with a married couple. I just think it's a bad deal because of all the things and implications that people can misunderstand or mistake. Just my friend being in that short amount of time around women who were much more modest than her and much more not as beautiful and everything like that. Well, they were already intimidated, let alone she at the pool, right? You know what I'm saying? So but like I said, imagine if it's Megan Thee Stallion coming, you all are at the pool and beautiful Megan Thee Stallion has her bikini on and stuff like that, and you're all like, ooh, and your husband's all like, wow. Now for me, I'm wild too because I love that kind of stuff. I'm like, this is that what I'm talking about. I need to go run around the gym 10 times. I admire girls like that. I think it's beautiful that you can as long as you're not doing nothing crazy. That's your beauty. Share it. Be beautiful. Be sexy. Be gorgeous. As long as you're not being flirtatious or doing something disrespectful or something like that. But women who are beautiful, they can't help that they're beautiful and stuff like that. But that can, if you're in too much close proximity to these people, that it can cause a mess. Okay, so yeah, that the first mistake was them inviting her to live with them. Okay, it says uh, it says Kennard testified that she relied on Timothy. Hold on. Montague to tell her if Akira Montague objected to her being around Timothy. And Timothy never said Akira was uncomfortable. Akira's attorney pointed to 3 texts where Akira indicated she was uncomfortable with Timothy and Kenora being together, including one January 26, 2024, in which Akira wrote, Brene has to leave by noon. Okay. Now, probably if she had a lawyer there, they would have said, "What's that text about? Was it that you didn't like the way she kept house?" It could have been about a number of things. It didn't mean that. It didn't have to mean that. What was she uncomfortable about? Was she uncomfortable about him being around you, or was she just uncomfortable just about her staying there? Okay. Timothy testified those texts came after previous texts from Akira indicating she wanted to separate. A text from the plaintiff's exhibit appeared to show Akira agreeing to a divorce by the end of couple's lease in January 2024. Kenora testified that she recalled a conversation with Akira Montague where Akira said she wouldn't even mind if Kenora and Timothy Montague got together. She then called Timothy down, yelling, Tim, I found your wife. Akira's attorney brought forward a February 2024 video of Kenora taking to the camera and appearing to refer to Timothy Montague. In the video, Kenora said she cannot wait to become Mrs. Montague, expressed her desire to have multiple children with Timothy, said words cannot express how much I love you and I'm so happy we're doing this again, expressed her enjoyment of multiple sexual acts. Timothy Montague testified Kenora was referring to their past relationship in 2014 and not the present, okay? Kenora testified that she was drunk when she recorded the video and other videos, and the prosecution referred to, including one where Kenora was twerking on Montague in the bathroom, okay? I'm not proud of those videos, Kenora said, okay? You shouldn't be. Kenora is the last witness, but her testimony will continue Monday. The trial is expected to conclude. Okay. Okay, she was arrested and charged with cyber stalking. Let's see this. Okay, and it says tensions boil over in the courtroom after North Carolina TikTok story alienation. I'm looking at some of these articles, y'all will see it in video. Okay, it says representing herself as the defendant of an alienation of affection lawsuit Wednesday. North Carolina TikTok star Brene Kenora questioned the woman who sued her on the stand. You should not have represented yourself. And it looks like you're still mocking the wife. You see what happens. She was just not smart in how she handled this, because I don't think she took it seriously. And you should have taken it seriously, and you should have gotten a lawyer. And you probably wouldn't be getting owed that much at this point. Okay, it says TikTok star Brene Kenora questioned the woman who was on this. Kenora said Akira Montague, the plaintiff, about an incident her lawyer mentioned in an opening statement, a pregnancy ending in a miscarriage. Montague answered her question, recounting in detail how a doctor informed her she had lost a baby. Okay, that must have been painful for you, right? Kenora asked. Some attendees in the gallery, few with any relation to either woman, but there were there to recount the case to their respective TikTok followers, quietly but audibly gasped. A few jurors were visibly shocked at Kenora's question. Well, I wouldn't expect you to know since you don't have children, Montague answered. The exchange was an emblematic of a heated second day of a trial of Durham County Courthouse, okay? So this just it says Akira Montague sued. We already talked about that. Okay, has Montague continued to respond to Kenora's line of questioning? Superior Court Judge Timothy Wilson stopped her and sent the jury out to warn the two to stick to the facts of the case and avoid editorializing. Wilson said she had warned the pair before, and another offense from either of them would lead him to hold them in contempt of court. You don't need to express your sympathy, Wilson said, addressing Kenora, and you don't need to make comments addressing Montague. Outside the courtroom, Timothy Montague was arrested Wednesday and charged with carrying a concealed gun, a 9mm handgun, and having a weapon in the courthouse. Court records show Montague was released after posting $2.5 thousand bonds. Okay, now check this out. You see how bad that looked to a jury? You're You are the mistress. You know you the mistress. You know you the other girlfriend. You choose to represent yourself. And you sitting up there asking the wife questions about her miscarriage. It seems like you're mocking her. This was not a smart girl. This girl was not smart. The reason she lost this case is not because Akira, this is just my personal opinion, is not because Akira approved that this woman took her husband, because it seemed, Akira, your marriage was already over from the get-go. It was never a marriage. You just got married. Y'all just got married in my opinion, y'all just got married in the license, but y'all never acted like y'all was married. You never had a marriage. And I would and a lawyer would have wore that out, said you never had a marriage. You just was married in license only. You never acted like a marriage. You knew you had an open marriage, open relationship. You knew your man was cheating. Allegedly. But a lawyer would have been able to hit that. This girl wasn't smart. Okay. Said Kenora's husband, Devon Mayo, is a cousin of Montauk's husband, Timothy Montauk, the complaint states. Mayo, Lord, it was her. They keeping it in the family. Mayo filed for divorce from Kenora in March 2025, court documents show. Kenora and Akira Montauk became friends as a result. Lord have mercy. During the cross-examination, Akira Montauk and Kenora stayed with the Montauks for 2 weeks in 2023. Okay. Montauk's complaint claims Kenora stayed at the house through at least February 2024 because she was having marital problems. Okay. Kenora's husband, Devon Mayo, filed for divorce in March 2025, court documents show. Okay, now Kenora asked Akira Montauk why they continued to hang out if she was uncomfortable with Kenora staying at the house. We didn't continue to hang out, Montauk said. I asked you to leave multiple times. At one point, Akira Montauk's grandmother came over to her house to tell Kenora to leave, Montauk said, but Kenora told Akira at the time that Timothy Montauk wanted her to stay. The only reason Kenora left, according to Akira Montauk, was because the police were called. Then Kenora came back. Montauk discovered the affair between Kenora and her husband in January 2024 when she stumbled on a video of the two of them together. These two people was crazy. They was dumb. Okay, Kenora staying at the house made Montauk so uncomfortable she could not finish school because of it. Kenora asked her if she believed that everyone else was at fault for her struggle in school. And she said, I take accountability for allowing an intruder into my home. Montauk said, yes, you need to do that. You took accountability, but you also need to take accountability of your own failings at school. See, and listen, your husband, you should have kicked her and your husband out, or you could have left. There is no reason for you to fail at what you're going to do. See, listen, I try to tell people it's always come back to you. It does. It always comes back to, unless somebody holding you with a gun or something like that, it always comes back to you. Unless you're being kidnapped or something like that, it's you. Okay. Timothy Montauk had previously cheated on Akira Montauk before having an affair with Kenora, according to Akira Montauk's complaint, okay? Which he said he cheated all the time, allegedly. Kenora referenced a previous affair in her line of questioning, suggesting that she was not at fault for destroying the love of Akira's marriage. One of the three things a person filing an alienation of affection must prove. A person filing an alienation of affection must also prove the love and affection was alienated and destroyed, and the love destroyed by a third party. That was already, I don't know how this case, I'm still shocked reading it. It says, Akira testified that love existed between her and her ex-husband. She said Timothy would write her love notes every day in a lunch bag he packed for her before work, but he was still cheating. So what? He was writing you love notes. That don't mean it was real. Akira Montauk's voice trembled when she said she felt like her two children had lost both parents. Without the second income, Akira worked so much she didn't have quality time for them. Her children are on the wait list for therapy because they're going through a lot of behavioral changes. And maybe because y'all dragging this marriage out by trying to sue people for money and all kind of stuff. My children aren't the same, Montauk said, holding back tears. The trial continued. Okay, so I read all this background stuff, and that's all I got to read. I'm still of the same idea. Women, take accountability for these. Akira is still not taking accountability. My kids, you exposed them. You knew this man, he wrote you love letters every day, girl, because he pacified you. He still was, you knew he's still out there running them streets, allegedly. You knew a lot of stuff about him. You You know, and you sitting up here trying to sue somebody for a marriage you knew was failing from the get-go. Girl, I just can't. Oh my God. And the dummy TikTok star let her do it. Let her do it. And which I don't listen. She was just one of the women in a succession. Okay. He was gonna leave eventually, Akira. He was gonna leave eventually. This marriage, in my personal opinion, he was eventually gonna leave. He was showing that women don't get it. It don't matter. You see, I don't care how many love letters he writing you. Actions speak louder than anything. Quit investing in shit that ain't working. Well, because we married and I'm trying to hold on. Girl, shut up. You wasting time. Okay. And if you are wasting that time, okay, that's on you. You know this man's a cheater. You know this man said he never was in it. And you trying to convince the court that he wasn't. And he's sitting up here out of his own words saying, no, I wasn't. Now who you want to believe? I just feel like this 1.7, a lot of women are happy about this, but I just believe it feeds the delusions of women who get into bad relationships and they know they're bad relationships from the beginning. And they never take accountability for knowing they've chosen bad. And when the man does exactly what he behaves in exactly the way he was always behaving, and then you sitting back talking about, well, he's leaving me for, he's messing with other women. So you knew that. Is it right? No. But you know what? You a grown ass woman. You can walk right out the door. Or you can make him leave out the door. Marriage is between two people. Y'all little links didn't make no difference. These little stories, as a matter of fact, it made me more uh that this girl shouldn't have won $1.75 million. Okay. I'm more against the alienation of affection laws. So what Carlotta is saying, like, you don't care about people getting cheated. No, that's not. I care, but that is between the spouse and the husband and wife. They have to be able to deal. Nobody can convince you. I don't care if you're the weakest motherfucker alive, unless they got a gun on you, they blackmailing you or something like that. Nobody can convince you to do anything. You do that of your own cognizance. People can seduce, people can play with your mind, but it is still you who makes that decision. You. You. If your man cheating, he made that decision. If your wife cheating, she made that decision. We ain't gonna be blaming third parties. Third parties ain't got shit to do with it. Only time third parties get blamed is they get disrespectful. But third parties ain't made no vows. Now, should they be messing with married people? No, but it happened. Okay, and you don't own nobody. This law denotes that somebody owns somebody. And it came out of the laws, I think, of where women used to own men and property and stuff like that. The laws where it came from are terrible. Let me see if I can find on YouTube so y'all can see this real quick before I end the show. And then y'all can understand why I'm not mad at y'all, but I'm telling y'all, don't write me no more. I understand, but don't send me the link and trying to convince me that this wife was right. I just disagree with that. Okay. But for you in North Carolina and the other six states, let me tell you to have wisdom. Okay, if a man is liking you, a woman's liking you, whatever, and they marry, tell them get out the marriage first. I mean, don't even tell them that. Just like, you know what? Hey, you're not single when you were single or something like that. I don't know if you even say that. I mean, just shit. Stay away from North Carolina, Puerto Rico. What's the other one? South Dakota or something like that. It's about 6 more. Okay, crazy. Ooh, they can hit a lick, boy, for if rich people, if a rich man, they have sued rich people too, okay, but poor, rich, and everything. But let me just find this so y'all can hear what this is. This law is. Okay, let's see. It says a thing where they. Okay, let's talk. Trying to find it for you. Mm. Okay, let's see here, y'all. Mhm. And love is to I see to some people subjective because a lot of people you think it's love that this man was constantly cheating. You think that was a loving marriage when his family got up there and testified that that they were constantly in turmoil and tumultuous. That's a loving marriage. It's just wow. It's just wow. Okay. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's listen to this. Okay. Okay, so you get an idea of what this law is about, okay? And it came from a very old law. I had another history thing about it. It came from a very old law where they were kind of wives, husbands kind of own their wives and considered them property. And then the wives amended a law and it became a property law and it came both ways where it went both ways in this thing. Listen, people aren't property. I think we've evolved enough in America that people aren't property, but we do. There can still be a respecting of the vows where you deal with your spouse with that situation. Okay, if you are a married woman and your husband decides to leave you, there are things that you can do, especially if you're going to have the children, child support, alimony, all those things are still very relevant in today's society. Being delulu and saying someone else is responsible for the ending of your marriage, they may have been a part of it, but responsible in totality, crazy. No. Infidelity is never completely the cause of the ending of a marriage. There was problems probably, I guarantee there was problems before he even met or she even met the person. And when there isn't any problems before, there were probably hidden things underneath that people failed to address. And that's how people were able to come in. But you cannot, most of the times, these aren't loving places, loving marriages, loving situations. You can love somebody. Now, don't get this. You can still love a person, but not have a loving situation. Typically, infidelity doesn't breed in a loving space. Adultery doesn't breed in a loving space. You can love someone, get what I'm saying? You can love someone, but still not have a loving environment. I remember when Jada had on that lady who was an expert on affairs, and she's talking about women. She said, why women have affairs. She said, women have affairs. She said, women usually have affairs because they want to change the story. They want to change the narrative. They don't like the environment there, and they don't like how they're living. They don't like the choices they make and everything. And so sometimes that's one of the reasons women go out. Men typically is a number, like a lot of reasons, but physically sometimes men are not just that deep with it, or a lot of boredom and everything else, all kind of things. But women want to, when they make a big drastic thing like that, it's because they want to change the story. Okay, change the narrative, and that is probably brewing long before any man or a woman comes along. They just tip it over what was already a succession of things happening. So no, I do not agree of laws of alienation. And hopefully somebody takes this all the way. It would be a nice Supreme Court case to judge. In my personal opinion, this would be awesome for the Supreme Court to look at, because these, in my personal opinion, the antiquated laws that need to be thrown off the books. We no longer see love and marriage in the way they did 100 years ago, 50 years ago. 60 years ago. We still see marriage committed, but we've evolved now as humans and understand that love can be a different space, and that the two people responsible for a marriage, and that doesn't mean outsiders can't interfere or make some trouble or something like that, but the people who are responsible for a marriage are the two people who are in it. And it doesn't mean, what about if your mother-in-law come in and your mother-in-law start talking you out, talking the person that, can you sue your mother-in-law in for alienation of affection when say for a woman don't like her daughter-in-law, and she telling her son, you should divorce. I mean, it's interesting. This law can go a lot of places. I'm surprised it just has not been thrown out. Okay. All right. So that's my take on it. I wanted to come out and read the little links and stuff y'all sent me and everything. To me, it just proves that he was never loving. I mean, he was never into the marriage. The marriage was over as soon as it began, in my opinion. And Akira, in my opinion, invested into a lost cause. And now she want to be mad about it. She want to sue somebody because she knew he was a lost cause from the get-go. Well, it was loving. It was loving. No, it wasn't. He said he was always cheating, allegedly. He said it took him 90 days. He had to marry you. The people was crying. He cried. The family members are saying the marriage was always tumultuous. I mean, listen, if you're a woman right now, let me just say this, okay? If you're a woman, and I'm specifically dealing with women right now. If you are a woman in a bad marriage, bad relationship, in terms of where the man is, there's infidelity all over the place and the man is cheating, okay? Core things to ask yourself. Was he always this way before I married him? When did it start? What responsibility? No, you're not responsible for him cheating. But what responsibility do I take up in the marriage? What has the environment been? Did I allow something to get away that I couldn't see? Or you know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean you're at fault. It just means to look at yourself too, and then take responsibility if you knew this person was that. And you just wanted him so bad that you just went on with it. This is what it sounded like with this girl. Or you let religion talk you into it, or you let this and that happen, or you let this and that happen. A lot of times we're setting ourselves up for disasters and we don't want to own it. And what'll happen is if you keep blaming, oh, she ruined my marriage, this woman ruined this man ruined my marriage. As even if when men do that, this man ruined my marriage. When we do those type of things, we never take responsibility for our part in getting with a person that decided to do that. And there are various reasons why people decide for infidelities in marriages. Sometimes people do not want to. People are very I know infidelity is never a good thing, okay? But sometimes people immediately realize, hey, I don't want to be this. I don't want to be in a cheating situation. And they get out and they go with their prospective people, okay? And they don't treat the other person bad. They try to end it respectfully and all kind of things. Okay, there's not always a terrible. I mean, it's always terrible because people, when you've invested in relationships and when you invested, it's always terrible. Okay, but there are various reasons. I understand. I quit. I used to be very hard on this. Y'all know if y'all used to listen to the show on Blog Talk Radio. I was very judgmental, but now what I've grown to realize as a grown up, that and the many people I've heard talk about relationships, marriage, and all kind of stuff, being a married person, all these things, I understand that in the courses of marriage a lot of things happen. In the courses of people trying to learn to be committed or monogamous, things happen, right? And that people are not always perfect. And I also understand that in the course, the space before people are married, people marry people who they already know it's a bad decision. It doesn't mean they're a bad person, but hey, you already know little things. People get married for various motives, various reasons, various situations and stuff. And then when they're in these marriages and stuff like that, sometimes you find out people got married for this reason, and then somebody comes along and challenges the relationship, and that people realize sometimes, hey, this wasn't good, I shouldn't have done this. This person was able to challenge me, really able to show me that maybe I don't belong in this marriage. That happens. I hate it. I'm sorry for you guys. I'm sorry. People ignore red flags every day. Or what happens in marriages, people stay too long. People are scared to tell their other person, or the other person's scared. And, people start messing around. I just tell y'all, it's just fact shit. I'm sorry. Damn, don't get mad at me. Because people be getting bum deals. I'm just telling you what it is. People, a lot of times in marriage, people getting bum deals. And sometimes you can survive the bum deal and end up being successful. And sometimes you can't. But that is on y'all too. The failure always lies with you two. No matter if it's third parties, fifth parties, 6 parties, 7 parties, 8 parties, 9 parties, 10 parties, 11 parties, 12 parties. And I know it's a thing in society to always, I hate cheating. I used to have a friend that did that. Ooh, she used to talk shit. She did real bad. I can't stand it. Until her ass got caught in the shit. I said, well, now you want somebody to have some compassion. Things happen. Okay. I hate it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for y'all, but I try to tell y'all on this show, y'all get mad at me when I try to tell y'all, how to be respectful. I don't know, there's no way to be respectful, but the best way you can be respectful. Don't be TJ and Amy running around. Where's TJ and Amy? Matter of fact, I gotta look up TJ and Amy. Are they still together? They quiet, which they should be right about now. TJ and Amy. Remember TJ and Amy from Good Morning America? The couple. They spouses ended up together too. You know what I'm saying? You know, they divorced and they divorced their spouses. They was cheat. They was having an affair. They both divorced their spouses, and their spouses ended up dating each other. Crazy work. Hey, I don't know. The world is a crazy place. But I guarantee you, when you sit down and talk to each prospective marriage, first of all, TJ, I always said with Amy and TJ, my personal opinion on that TJ is a 15-year window, 20-year window. He's had a repeated pattern. And TJ's one of them good-looking men. Let me tell you something. TJ's one of them fine men that draw women. Like they said, allegedly that he was had a lot of relationships. Allegedly around Good Morning America and stuff like that. He was a drawer of women. He can draw women. When you date those type of men that just, you got to make sure you got a dude that is in control of his energy, because and they're picky, because men who can draw the women like a TJ tend to be hoes. They can't help. You know what I'm saying? I tell women this all the time. I mean, you know, and some women, you so attracted to some of these men, y'all make them your husbands. Y'all know he a hoe. Y'all be knowing. Yeah, you be knowing. You be knowing ahead of time. You be knowing, but you so want to have them. And you think marriage is going to change him. Marriage is not going to change him. He has to change before on his own and before marriage. TJ kind of gives me a window thing. And TJ's one of them real good looking guys. He's got a very great, a certain type of energy about him and stuff like that. Yeah, you just gotta, you know what I'm saying? Them types. I'd be like, I dated one of those. Listen, I've been through a lot. I remember he was so beautiful. I mean, the girls would come. Matter of fact, one of my mother's ex-boyfriends told me he worked with this particular guy, and he said, "Man," I can't believe you." He said, "You know, he had teachers fighting at him about him at the school." I said, "I ain't surprised." Right, beautiful, attracted women everywhere. Couldn't help himself. I mean, just a beautiful, handsome, very beautiful guy. Oh my God! Listen, I mean, I recognized it a little while after dating the person and stuff like that. And this person, me and this person had quite the history. It was weird. It was such a weird history with dating him. But I recognized it right. And he was so angry at me for saying, I'm sorry, you're a womanizer. You can't handle how you look. You can't handle your sexual energy. you all over the place. If they attracted, you give them a reason to be. You give them you don't just. It's a different one thing about flirting. You know, because some men are charming, and they, you have some men that flirt a little bit, that's charming with everybody. But this motherfucker was not only charming and flirting, but he just go the extra. He just go the extra. Like he end up sleeping with people, or he end up doing this, or he end up taking somebody out. I just didn't want to be bothered. I was like, I'm not gonna be bothered in that kind of energy. You think I'm gonna date and marry or somebody like that? Are you serious? And this person had nerve enough to come back and ask me to have a child with it. I was like, are you really? First of all, and it was a paid deal. He wasn't paid me. Let me just say, that's why I say women. I had to think about it, because listen, I had to be like, my thoughts I was like 24, 25, and I had to really sit there and be like, and I no longer was drawn in or swayed in by the magnetism and all that stuff. And I had to see what this person was. And I was like, does it make sense to have a child by you? No. Does it make sense for me to be out here a single mama with no with no marriage? No. Well, no, you wouldn't have to be that. I mean, just the craziest shit. You can be convinced of a lot of things, lady, if you slow. Don't be slow. He came and said, "You would be there. I could take custody. You know, if I would have done something so dumb, oh my God, my whole life it would have been a beautiful child, but my whole life would have changed. My whole life would have been like, changed. You can't be slow, girls. Quit being slow. Don't you not slow? Throw somebody come to you trying to throw out some ideas or stuff. Some of these men just trying to try you, see how slow you are. Okay, don't be slow and marry like Timothy, like this woman did. Well, y'all laughing and saying she got 1.75 million out of it. Maybe she didn't. Maybe she just got a lawyer bill from this girl who won the case. Because this girl might file bankruptcy or whatever. She might just she might have just got herself a lawyer's bill. I don't know. Maybe she'll collect the 1.75. Maybe she won't. I don't know. Maybe it was but whatever the case, child, that take a whole year out of your life. You've been in court. I just think it's a waste of time. Ladies, let me give you my advice. If somebody has done you like Timothy done this girl, okay? With a person that you claim to be your friend, and allegedly he was supposed to have slept with the girl's sister too. His new girl's sister. Allegedly, I think that's how the story goes. I mean, he was sleeping. Timothy was what Mama Evelyn say on Mama Braxton say. He was spreading it wide, and what did she say? Spreading it wide and dropping it low everywhere. Okay, spreading it wide and dropping it low everywhere. If a man does you like this, and you're in the state of North Carolina, and the temptation comes to you, I'm going to sue my mistress. You take time off your lifespan. I don't care. I want revenge. I want this. It's a waste of time. I don't care what he done, everything. Deal with your husband and that and law and alimony, setting up certain things and everything like that. But dude, sometimes don't waste your time. I had one friend one time, she decided to divorce, and she was saying how her husband was he was acting a fool about everything. He just was just anything, and it was scaring her because he was, I don't want, you can't take that, you can't take this, and it just really like, and kind of coming at her very threatening and stuff like that. And I remember she said to me, "It ain't worth my peace." I said, "Girl, you gonna give up that?" She said, "I'm just giving up everything. I'll start all over. I just want to be the fuck. I wanted to be the fuck over." All she cared about was her peace. She said, "I will rebuild again. Okay. I just gotta go. I can't deal." He's arguing me with everything, just fighting her over every little inch, to the point she thought he was gonna get aggressive and maybe do something to her. Right? She did that. She gave him everything. He's in shock. But her life, okay, listen, let me tell you, blow up, way better for it. But she said she valued her peace and valued her safety and everything. Where she's just like, I'm not gonna do this. It's a waste of my time. It's a waste of my energy. I could be doing something else. We're not gonna take all this shit. Just give me sign the papers. So sometimes women, you may have to have a moment like that. I don't think these cases of alienation of affection for men or women are good cases. I don't. I think it helps you not deal with the obvious delulu that you've been sitting in. And the obvious favor the mistress has done you. Yes, she did you a favor. She took a bum deal out from your hands. She freed you up, set you free. Now you can sue her for spend another next year and a half suing her for money you may or may not get. Embarrassing, putting all your stuff on the timeline, whatever, all the stuff that happened in the house. I just think it's a waste of time. When you could be living your life, renewing your life, restarting your life, doing wonderful things, and letting the bum deal go. Well, Carlotta, you don't understand. I got 3 kids with him. I depend on his income. Well, that's why you ask for alimony and spousal support. If you use that lawyer to use the money to get a good lawyer to make sure he pays spousal and alimony. And then if he still give you too much, sometimes you gotta let people go. Sometimes you ain't even gotta care about that. Sometimes you gotta be like, you know what? My peace of mind. You have to figure out how much you want it to cost you. Now, if you don't care about it costing you and doing all this stuff, you can do it. I think it's crazy, but go ahead. And I don't think that person's responsible for your marriage in it. They're just one of the elements. But it was what seems obvious to me is that this marriage was over before it started. Okay. So don't do yourself a disservice. Honor your time, honor who you are as a person. You ain't got time to be sitting around being mad and pissed off. Let people be free. They want to, you free, you free, you free. You want to go ahead, be with somebody else. You free. You a human. Yes, you in a vow. Yes, it's bad. We have, but hey, I respect you. I'm not gonna sit up here and argue. I'm not gonna fight. I'm just, you try to fight for your situation if there's something left to fight. But some of y'all be knowing ain't nothing left to fight. Some of y'all is just ego and pride hurt. You know what I'm saying? Nah, I'm about to tell you the truth. There's a lot of women and men who will fight for people over ego and pride. They just sitting up there. They knew it was a bum deal when they got her. They said, "This is a bum deal. I know this is a bum deal. I've been knowing she was a bum deal. I've been knowing he was a bum deal, but I don't want to be embarrassed because of it. I want to prove to everybody we supposed to be together. You know it's a bum deal. You know you need to let him go. That's why I told y'all about the ID channel the other night. Listen, let me tell y'all. They showed this other story about this boxer. I forgot to tell y'all the sidebar before we get off. They showed the story on the ID channel about this boxer, right? Who was he was starting to be an up and coming big time boxer. He had a girlfriend, they had children together or whatever. Okay, him and his girlfriend, he was kind of abusive to this girlfriend, but nobody knew it, right? And so I've told y'all about this case before. But during the case, okay, during this situation, him and her got into it and everything like that. And he started threatening her and started doing all kind of stuff to her allegedly. And there's a reason why I'm saying allegedly for this right now. But uh, 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 so in the end, the girl ends up shot. Okay, she ends up shot. He said she says he shot her in the face and he shot her in the eye. Girl almost died. Okay, his girlfriend. Okay, he goes to jail and sits in jail for 2 years. Meanwhile, the girl is telling the story. The black girl he's going with, right? He's got children with. She said how he took her to the gym one time when he was working out, and there was this white woman there, right, who was studying med school or whatever, and she knew. He said they was friends and he was training her, but she felt it was something else, right? Okay, speed up. Boom. He in jail 2 years, right? He was supposed to be a big time boxer. He was coming on the up and up, but he had to spend time in jail because the claims were that he shot this woman. Well, this white woman starts to not believe, works to trying to get him out of jail. She don't believe the girl. So the girl's trying to let her know, hey, he did shoot me. He shot me in the face. But she's saying, hey, he she shot herself. Okay, so what happened is they find gun residue on the girl's hand only. They find only gun residue on her hand, but not on his hand. That technicality is able to get him off and set him free. Okay. Okay, the other girl said, listen, she gonna end up hurt because that man did that to me. Okay, but this girl don't believe it. So she ends up 2 years later, he ends up being, she's a doctor now. She's got her, she's working at a hospital and everything. And she ends up bringing this man into her life, marrying him. But his boxing career, after 2 years in the jail, his boxing ain't going so well anymore. The boxing, he's not the same fighter that he was before he went in. Okay, so he's failing in that. Okay, and she's a doctor and I married this fool. Okay, right? So now he starts being abusive to her. All the stuff he was doing to the ex, he started doing to her. Now the ex told her, said, "This is, hey, I'm telling you." She called the mama up and said he gonna kill her. Y'all, ask me why that man killed that woman, shot that woman. She was a whole doctor, had it going on, had them living in a big house. He shot and killed her allegedly with a baby in her arms. And then when the police came, this fool tried to act like, oh, I was out of town for a while. I came home, I found a baby. He was just acting as well. Oh, why got to happen to me? Now you got two women that shot themselves. He in jail right now serving. I think he's eligible for parole or something in 2050. Something crazy. I don't know. It's ridiculous. But child, the first woman was right. She ended up dead because she didn't listen to the first woman. The first woman was trying to tell her. The first woman was trying to give her a warning and say, girl, he shot me. I'm telling you. But she worked mercilessly because she wanted this man so bad. And she thought he was going to be a boxer. She thought he was going to be big time. She worked her ass off to get this man out of jail. And when his boxing career failed, he started ruining her life. And eventually, in the end, shoots her cold. What is the moral of the story? What am I telling y'all this story for? Because that marriage was over before it started. The girl said, this fool, I bet he showed crazy signs beforehand to that other girl too. But she chose not to believe that first woman. That first woman was looking, she said, well, I tried to tell him. I said, that's all you can do, sis. Okay, little white girl that was dying ended up dead. Shot her in the head with her baby in her hand because she wouldn't listen. Because she thought she was the better. Sometimes all you gotta do is listen, look around, watch some people's behavior. Okay. You like, well, Carlotta, who you blame? I don't blame her for him shooting her in the head, but I certainly would say that she got some responsibility in it because she got this man out of jail. He was in jail already for killing a woman, but she didn't believe that woman. And she, because she didn't go far enough in neither did the courts because they thought, he did wash his hands up, but that girl was adamant. And I believe that girl, to me, an abuser can hardly ever hide. They can't. I have never seen abusers that have been good at hiding. They're charming. Listen, abusers are either overly charming and stuff at first. They're overly, but they're somewhere in there. One thing I'll tell you about abusers, they show themselves. They show their hand. They always do. Even if it's a little something. If it's a little something you hear that's off, trust your gut. Don't just shoo it away. You know what I'm saying? You can't. That's why I try to tell women, period, to take responsibility. A lot of women shoo away the things they know and stuff like that. They spirit man is telling them something. You sure don't do that. Listen to it. Listen to those things. If you see somebody acting a little strange, you're like, okay. Or somebody calling you 50 times a day, and you're like, the fuck, he called me all these times. Okay, that's a sign. Or he trying to alienate you from friends and family and all those things. Women see a lot of these signs ahead of time in these relationships and marriages and stuff, and y'all tend to ignore them. And then when y'all get into something terrible, y'all won't take no responsibility about it because you saw the red flags. Now they get so they be lying. I didn't see no red flag. I didn't see not one thing. I was watching one show, American Monster, and this woman was saying, I didn't see not one thing. Then she went on to say about 5 things he did before the marriage. I said, you saw it, sis. You saw it. That's because she couldn't believe, she didn't want to take responsibility for getting in that mess. I saw one woman though on one of those shows, and she said I was just so low self-esteem. I was just being so stupid. I was so proud of her. She said, and I almost got myself. And she said, and really, because he ended up killing her kids. He killed 2 of her kids. And she said, and I really take responsibility for that because I knew he wasn't safe and I shouldn't have had him living in that house. I said, well, so finally somebody takes some motherfucking responsibility. I mean, not in terms of she's not the reason he killed them kids. He shouldn't have killed nobody. But she did know he was off. And she did leave her kids. You know that fool's off. Okay? So that's what I'm trying to say to y'all. Start taking personal responsibility. When you see these men ain't right, when you see these people ain't right, be careful. Watch your back. Watch yourself. Okay. That's all. End of the show. Okay. Y'all have a good one. Remember, you can hit me up on the Carlotta Chatwood Facebook page. You can also hit me up on Twitter X at C Chatwood Show, Carlotta 72. You can also hit me up on what else? TikTok, Keisha Carlotta, Instagram, Carly's with an S underscore galaxy. Okay. Thank y'all for hanging out. I hope y'all got it. I hope y'all, okay. So please listen. Okay. Y'all, I'm still for this law. Okay. I'm still against this law. Okay. Not for it, against it. Okay. And I hope y'all heard the reason why. It don't matter the links you sent. The links convince me more. All right. Have a good day, y'all. I'm out. Bye.